Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Some personalities whisper, but a Sigma's presence speaks in a language most people were never taught. There's a strange truth psychologists rarely highlight. Less than 1% of people possess personality markers that combine extreme self-reliance, emotional depth, and social detachment without tipping into narcissism or antisocial traits. That microscopic percentage? Those are the Sigma males, the rare outliers everyone tries to label but never truly understands. A Sigma male doesn't try to stand out. He accidentally breaks every social pattern simply by existing. He's the glitch in the social matrix, the unpredictable file the system can't decode. You'll see him blend in like wallpaper until you realize the whole room is unconsciously adjusting to him. And the funny part? He's usually just trying to avoid small talk and escape before someone asks, "So, why are you so quiet?" This personality is rare because it refuses to be tamed, categorized, or neatly packaged. While others follow structure, crave validation, or cling to hierarchies, a Sigma operates by an internal manual no one else has ever seen, and may never understand. He's not rebellious. He just naturally breaks rules by ignoring the ones that don't make sense. Today, we're cracking open the vault. These aren't the usual recycled traits you see everywhere. What you're about to hear are the raw, unfiltered signs that reveal you're dealing with someone whose personality doesn't just stand apart. It stands alone. Let's dive into the rare psychology behind the Sigma male, where every trait feels like a paradox, a superpower, and a warning label all at once. Number 1. Their energy is too intense for shallow people. A Sigma male's energy isn't something you can easily describe because it doesn't follow the usual rules. It's quiet, contained, yet impossible to ignore. It's the kind of presence that doesn't announce itself with loud words or gestures, but it has a gravitational pull that subtly shifts the room. People who operate on surface-level chatter or fleeting trends often feel this as an unsettling weight. It's not threatening in a conventional way, but it makes shallow personalities uncomfortable because they instinctively sense depth they can't reach. This intensity isn't about arrogance or trying to dominate. It's about being fully tuned into life on a level that most people avoid. Sigmas perceive patterns, intentions, and truths that others miss entirely, and that awareness radiates outwards. It's a quiet force, and it forces reflection. Some people pick up on it subconsciously and feel an inexplicable pressure. Others, who live in constant distraction or social performance, get antsy or even defensive around it because they're confronted with aspects of themselves they'd rather ignore. The energy of a Sigma male is disruptive, not destructive. It exposes pretense, laziness, and dishonesty without lifting a finger. People can't fake their way around it. They may laugh, joke, or try to engage superficially, but their efforts feel hollow against someone who operates at a deeper frequency. It's not meant to shame anyone. It's simply a natural effect of being intensely self-aware and emotionally calibrated. At the same time, this intensity can be magnetic for those who match it, drawing in people who are genuinely capable, curious, or ambitious. But for those who are shallow, lazy, or emotionally lazy, it's exhausting. They don't have the patience, stamina, or understanding to absorb it. Most try to retreat or avoid it, while a few might attempt manipulation, only to realize it doesn't work. The Sigma's energy isn't something that bends for convenience. It's authentic, unfiltered, and unapologetic, which makes it rare and, frankly, intimidating to anyone who operates only on surface-level energy. This is why Sigma males often seem to live in a world apart. Their energy doesn't fit neatly into social structures, and that's exactly the point. It's too rich, too observant, and too alive for the shallow currents most people swim in. It's the kind of energy that leaves a mark, whether people notice consciously or not. Number 2, they don't just think outside the box, they abandoned the box years ago. A Sigma male doesn't just challenge conventional thinking for the sake of it. He doesn't politely step outside the box and glance back at the crowd. He completely leaves the box behind, often without anyone noticing until he's already far ahead. Social rules, expectations, and hierarchies hold no real power over him because he's never built his life around them. He doesn't follow paths laid out by tradition, trends, or other people's approval. Instead, he carves his own lane, often in directions so unconventional that most people can't even see the road. This isn't rebellion or arrogance. It's pure necessity. Following the usual path feels restrictive, shallow, and exhausting. He has an internal compass calibrated to his own logic, ethics, and vision. While others spend energy worrying about what's normal or acceptable, he spends that same energy building, refining, and mastering himself. The result is a life that doesn't conform to expectations, yet somehow functions with remarkable precision and efficiency. People often misinterpret this independence as unpredictability, but it's intentional. Every move, every decision is guided by internal principles, not the approval or judgment of others. This approach to life gives him a unique advantage. He sees opportunities where others see obstacles and possibilities where others see limits. While many get stuck following the beaten path because it feels safer, the Sigma is already steps ahead, exploring, learning, and creating without needing anyone's validation. At the same time, his disregard for conventional structures makes him difficult to categorize, which can make others uncomfortable. He doesn't fit neatly into boxes labeled leader, introvert, or rebel. He simply exists on his own terms, and that freedom gives him a quiet authority that commands respect without demanding it. Abandoning the box also makes him resilient. When systems fail, trends collapse, or people disappoint, he doesn't break. He adapts seamlessly. He's never tied to what others define as safe or proper, so nothing can truly destabilize him. The Sigma male doesn't just think differently, he lives differently, operates differently, and experiences life in a way most people can't even begin to understand. That's why he isn't just outside the box. He has no need for the box at all. Number 3. They prefer being misunderstood over being misused. A Sigma male has an unshakable sense of self-protection when it comes to his energy and trust. He has learned early on that clarity and honesty are powerful tools, but they are also risky when thrown into the wrong hands. Most people take transparency as an invitation to manipulate, exploit, or control. A Sigma refuses to make himself that vulnerable. He would rather let someone misinterpret his intentions than allow them to use him as a stepping stone or pawn in their agenda. Misunderstanding is temporary. Being misused can leave scars that linger forever. This preference isn't about playing mind games or being secretive for the sake of drama. It's a form of calculated survival. He recognizes that his depth, independence, and unique worldview are often too much for ordinary people to handle. If he explains everything, he risks exposure to those who might twist his words, take advantage of his skills, or drain his emotional and mental energy. So instead, he keeps his motivations private, his plans subtle, and his boundaries unbreachable. To onlookers, he may seem mysterious, aloof, or even cold, but that detachment is simply a shield against exploitation. Being misunderstood also gives him freedom. He is not bound by the constant need to justify himself, conform, or manage the expectations of others. Misinterpretation becomes a buffer that allows him to operate on his own terms. He can act decisively, pursue his goals, and make choices without interference or commentary. This doesn't mean he avoids connection entirely. He chooses his relationships carefully, investing only in people who prove they are trustworthy and capable of understanding him on a level that matters. In a world full of opportunists and people who measure others by convenience rather than character, a Sigma male's approach is both strategic and self-preserving. Misunderstanding is a small price to pay for autonomy. Misuse, however, is unacceptable. He carries his energy with precision, and those who can't handle it are left on the outside wondering why he seems untouchable. He doesn't apologize for this. It's not arrogance, it's wisdom and instinct, honed to protect the rare and valuable force that he is. Number 4, they carry a quiet darkness. They never apologize for a Sigma. Male carries a darkness that is neither dramatic nor toxic, but it is undeniably present. It is the product of a life lived with awareness, honesty, and an unwillingness to pretend. He has seen things most people avoid noticing: betrayal, weakness, mediocrity, and the hidden mechanics of human behavior. This awareness doesn't make him bitter. It makes him deliberate, cautious, and intensely self-reliant. He doesn't apologize for it, because it's part of what shapes his clarity, his strength, and his precision in dealing with the world. This quiet darkness manifests as an energy people feel almost instinctively. It's not about threatening anyone. It's about holding an internal power that others can't access or manipulate. Shallow individuals often misread it as coldness or arrogance, but in reality, it's a protective layer that allows him to navigate life without being derailed by the chaos and nonsense that derail most people. He knows how dangerous naivety and blind trust can be, and he refuses to allow either to touch him. It also gives him an edge in judgment. He can see motives, patterns, and consequences with remarkable clarity because he isn't clouded by unnecessary sentiment or herd mentality. This darkness isn't a weight he drags around. It's a tool, a lens through which he filters the world. People around him may sense it as intensity, mystery, or an almost unnerving calm. Those who misunderstand it often feel unsettled, while those who recognize it instinctively respect it. What makes this darkness exceptional is that it is entirely unperformative. He doesn't flaunt it, manipulate it for effect, or use it to intimidate. It simply exists quietly and completely as a natural byproduct of his personality. It allows him to move through life with precision, emotional autonomy, and a level of insight few can match. This is why a Sigma male can appear untouchable, almost otherworldly, to those who have never experienced that level of internal depth. He doesn't apologize for it because it is not a flaw. It is the rare, unapologetic signature of someone who has fully mastered himself and refuses to compromise his truth for anyone. Number 5. They rebuild themselves without witnesses. A Sigma male doesn't announce his struggles, broadcast his setbacks, or seek validation while he's in the process of growth. There's no social media post, no inspirational quote, no public mourning for what went wrong. He doesn't rely on others to witness his transformation because he knows that real change doesn't need applause. It only needs discipline, patience, and unwavering focus. While most people externalize their struggles to feel seen or comforted, he internalizes them, treating failure and disappointment as private materials to forge a stronger self. When life knocks him down, he doesn't scramble for quick fixes or temporary distractions. He disappears from distractions, criticism, and unnecessary attention, entering a state of quiet reconstruction. In this solitude, he analyzes, adapts, and strengthens every part of himself. He confronts weaknesses without flinching and hones his skills without needing recognition. This process isn't visible to outsiders, which is exactly the point. He understands that rebuilding is a private act of self-mastery, not a performance for others. When he re-emerges, it's seamless. There's no grand announcement or explanation for the time he spent away. People notice the difference, the sharper focus, the enhanced confidence, the subtle aura of someone who has transcended their previous limitations. but they don't see the labor, the internal battles, or the discipline that went into it. And that's intentional. A Sigma male doesn't rebuild for approval, he rebuilds for himself. This ability to reconstruct in silence separates him from the majority. While many seek external validation to feel their growth is real, he knows that true transformation requires solitude, privacy, and patience. By the time others catch up, he has already moved forward. His growth is measured by outcomes, not applause. It's this quiet, relentless refinement, carried out without witnesses or acknowledgement, that gives a Sigma male an almost untouchable resilience. He becomes stronger, wiser, and more impervious, not because he wants to show off, but because he respects himself enough to demand real, unshakable progress. Number 6. They don't gamble with their peace. You're either safe or you're gone. A Sigma male doesn't negotiate when it comes to his peace of mind. He treats it like a private vault, precious, fortified, and non-negotiable. Life is full of noise, manipulation, and emotional clutter, and he has zero tolerance for anyone or anything that threatens the balance he's worked so hard to maintain. He doesn't dip his toes into toxicity to see if it's manageable, and he doesn't tolerate people testing his boundaries for their own amusement. With him, there is no gray area. You are either aligned with his standards and respect his space, or you are quietly, efficiently removed. This approach doesn't make him rigid or unkind, it makes him strategic. He knows that even minor disturbances, confusion, entitlement, or unnecessary expectations can escalate and erode clarity, focus, and inner strength over time. While most people react, complain, or argue when someone disrupts their peace, a Sigma eliminates the problem before it becomes a pattern. The door closes not in anger, but in quiet calculation, preserving the calm that allows him to operate at peak efficiency. This principle applies not just to people, but to situations, environments, and obligations. A Sigma doesn't overcommit or bend for social convenience. He prioritizes his mental and emotional energy like a rare resource, investing only where it will yield growth, stability, or genuine value. Everything else is background noise that doesn't deserve his attention. The result is a magnetic aura of control and clarity. Those who are safe and aligned feel drawn to him naturally, sensing a rare calm and strength. Those who aren't feel an invisible boundary they can't penetrate. It's not about intimidation, it's about uncompromising self-preservation. A Sigma doesn't gamble with his peace because he understands that once it's lost, it's extremely difficult to regain. In a world full of chaos, he stands unshaken, untouchable, and entirely sovereign over his own inner world. Number 7. They can sense manipulation. Faster than most people sense attraction. A Sigma male has an almost preternatural ability to detect manipulation before it ever reaches the conscious level of thought. While most people are caught off guard, emotionally baited, or lulled into compliance, he observes and processes subtle cues, tone, timing, body language, and inconsistency, like an internal radar finely tuned to human behavior. It's not paranoia, it's awareness honed by experience, observation, and an understanding that intentions are often disguised behind smiles, charm, or persuasion. This ability doesn't make him cynical, but it makes him almost impossible to exploit. Where others fall into traps of guilt, flattery, or emotional blackmail, a Sigma sees the mechanics behind the manipulation with surgical clarity. He doesn't react impulsively. Instead, he calculates, assesses, and positions himself in ways that neutralize potential harm without creating unnecessary conflict. His responses are deliberate, precise, and often invisible to the person attempting the manipulation. It's not just about protecting himself, it's also about conserving energy. A Sigma knows that engagement with deceit drains mental, emotional, and even physical resources. By identifying hidden motives quickly, he avoids wasted effort and keeps his focus on actions, relationships, and environments that are genuine and mutually beneficial. This creates a natural filter. Those who bring dishonesty, entitlement, or hidden agendas rarely linger in his orbit. The way he senses manipulation gives him an almost predatory edge, but it's subtle rather than aggressive. People may never realize they've been seen through because the Sigma doesn't need to expose them. He simply adjusts, adapts, or distances himself. This instinctive awareness makes him exceptionally difficult to control or influence, and it's a quality that separates him from the majority. While ordinary personalities react after the fact, a Sigma moves silently, protecting himself and his peace while maintaining a calm exterior. His ability to sense deception isn't just a skill, it's a survival mechanism, a quiet weapon, and an essential part of why his personality is so rare and exceptionally formidable. Number 8, their loyalty is rare. Because their standards are brutal. A Sigma, male's loyalty is not casual, performative, or automatic. It isn't something he gives to anyone who asks for it or earns it through empty gestures. Instead, it is earned through depth, integrity, and mutual understanding. And the threshold for earning it is extraordinarily high. He doesn't commit himself lightly because he knows the cost of misplaced loyalty, wasted energy, emotional exhaustion, and the quiet betrayal of his own standards. Most people are filtered out before loyalty is even a consideration, simply because they lack the consistency, insight, or self-awareness to meet his bar. He doesn't ride or die for everyone. That phrase may sound dramatic, but in his world, loyalty is measured by alignment, capability, and respect. He observes people closely, not to judge them superficially, but to understand whether they can match the depth of his principles, withstand the intensity of his energy, and honor the unspoken codes he lives by. If someone falls short, it isn't personal or reactive. It's a conscious decision to preserve his boundaries. For a Sigma, loyalty is a tool, not a social contract. It's given sparingly, intentionally, and unshakably once earned. This brutal standard eliminates the majority of people from his inner circle. Casual friends, fair-weather companions, and opportunists simply don't make the cut. The relationships he cultivates are few, but exceptionally strong. Those who earn his loyalty find a rare, unwavering ally, someone who is reliable, discreet, and fiercely protective, but who expects the same level of integrity in return. His loyalty is so rare because it reflects his philosophy of life, quality over quantity in every aspect, time, energy, relationships, and trust. He doesn't dilute himself for acceptance or validation. By setting such exacting standards, he ensures that the few people he allows close are not just compatible, they are exceptional in ways most will never experience. This is why his loyalty is priceless, unmistakable, and deeply respected by those who understand it. Number 9. They have an uncomfortable talent for outgrowing people. Quickly. A Sigma male evolves at a pace that most people can't even comprehend. He doesn't grow in predictable linear steps. He transforms in leaps, often silently, reshaping his skills, mindset, and priorities without waiting for anyone else to catch up. The world around him doesn't slow down, and neither does he. This relentless personal evolution creates a natural tension in his relationships because not everyone moves at the same velocity. Friends, colleagues, or partners who were once aligned with him can quickly feel left behind, unable to keep pace with the mental, emotional, or professional shifts he's undergoing. It isn't intentional or cruel. It's simply the reality of his growth trajectory. A Sigma doesn't mold himself to fit others' comfort zones, and he refuses to stagnate to maintain relationships. When someone can no longer match his level of insight, ambition, or emotional depth, the connection naturally decays. It happens quietly, often without drama, but the effect can be jarring. Relationships that once felt solid suddenly feel thin, like paper stretched too far. This talent for outgrowing people isn't limited to personal relationships. It extends to workplaces, social circles, and even casual acquaintances. He recognizes stagnation in others with unnerving clarity, and rather than waste energy trying to force alignment, he redirects it to areas that fuel growth. People who fail to adapt or evolve aren't rejected out of spite. They simply no longer fit the ecosystem he operates in. The discomfort for others comes from how effortless his transformation seems. While most people struggle to change or resist growth, a Sigma moves forward naturally, leaving behind what no longer serves him or elevates his trajectory. It's this combination of speed, awareness, and refusal to compromise that makes him feel untouchable, yet intimidating. His evolution is unstoppable, and those who can't keep up must either accept their distance or be left behind, because a Sigma male cannot, and will not, pause his growth for anyone. Number 10. They break their own limits, not other people's expectations. A Sigma male doesn't measure his progress by society's standards, approval ratings, or what others think he should achieve. He doesn't chase accolades, conform to trends, or bend to fit someone else's expectations. His only true benchmark is himself, the version of him he refuses to stay. Every challenge, every goal, every push forward is directed inward, aimed at surpassing his previous limits, rather than impressing or outperforming anyone else. This mindset makes him exceptionally focused. While others expend energy seeking recognition, validating their worth through comparison, or worrying about perception, a Sigma channels all his energy into personal growth. He doesn't compete for attention because he understands that external approval is fleeting and unreliable. Instead, he competes with the person he was yesterday, always striving to refine, elevate, and exceed his own previous achievements. Breaking his own limits requires discipline, patience, and self-awareness. It's not about reckless risk-taking or showing off. It's about calculated progression and relentless self-mastery. He sets challenges that stretch him physically, mentally, and emotionally, knowing that real growth is uncomfortable and often lonely. This is why so few people can truly keep up with a Sigma. He's always evolving, always leveling up, and rarely tethered to the pace of those around him. By focusing on self-improvement rather than external expectations, a Sigma cultivates a life that is authentic, powerful, and uniquely his own. He doesn't seek admiration, but admiration naturally follows, because people recognize the discipline, independence, and mastery he embodies. He doesn't live to meet the world's standards. He lives to redefine his own. In a society obsessed with comparison, the Sigma male stands apart, driven by an internal force that refuses compromise and measures success only by the distance he has traveled within himself. Number 11. Their confidence comes from competence, not delusion. A Sigma male's confidence isn't built on empty bravado or the illusions of self-importance. He doesn't need to inflate his ego to be noticed or to convince others of his worth. Instead, his assurance comes from mastery, real, tangible skill, knowledge, and experience. He knows what he can do, how far he can push himself, and what outcomes he can reliably produce. This kind of confidence is unshakable because it is grounded in reality, not perception. Most people attempt to fake confidence, relying on charm, posturing, or superficial achievements to cover insecurity. A Sigma sees through all of that immediately, both in himself and in others. He understands that true strength comes from preparation, competence, and the ability to perform under pressure. There's no need to exaggerate, embellish, or perform theatrically. His skill and knowledge speak for themselves. This makes him quietly magnetic and, at times, intimidating, because his confidence is undeniable yet effortless. Competence also allows him to operate independently. He doesn't need validation or recognition to feel assured. Whether in a professional setting, social environment, or personal challenge, he trusts his abilities to navigate complexity, solve problems, and handle outcomes. That trust in himself is not just confidence, it's freedom from the constant need for approval. Furthermore, this kind of confidence is resilient. It doesn't waver when situations get tough because it is grounded in reality rather than perception. Sigmas understand the stakes, acknowledge their limits, and continuously refine their abilities to meet new challenges. There's no pretense, no panic, and no reliance on luck. This is why Sigma males exude a rare form of self-assurance. It is earned, tested, and undeniable. It doesn't need an audience or applause to exist, and it cannot be faked. In a world full of inflated egos and shallow bravado, a Sigma's competence-based confidence stands apart as an unmistakable mark of authenticity, power, and rare intelligence. Number 12. They question everything, including themselves. A Sigma male's intelligence isn't defined by certainty or arrogance, it's defined by relentless scrutiny. He doesn't assume he's right just because he has knowledge or experience. Instead, he examines every belief, every assumption, and even his own instincts with a meticulous and almost surgical attention to detail. This constant process of verification allows him to separate fact from opinion, clarity from illusion, and truth from convenience. His genius lies not in being infallible, but in being uncompromising in his pursuit of understanding. He approaches life like a system to be deconstructed. Every idea, every social rule, and every narrative is subject to his internal review. He questions motives, consequences, and hidden variables others often overlook. Most people stop at surface-level explanations or rely on what feels right. A Sigma digs deeper, following lines of reasoning to their logical ends, revising his perspective when evidence contradicts it. This isn't indecision, it's precision. Every adjustment strengthens his worldview and sharpens his actions. What sets him apart is his willingness to question himself first. Many people criticize, doubt, or analyze the world around them, but few have the courage or discipline to apply that same scrutiny inward. A Sigma does. He examines his own biases, mistakes, and limitations, acknowledging where he could be wrong or where growth is needed. This introspection doesn't weaken him, it fortifies him, producing a clarity and self-awareness that few can rival. This mindset makes him exceptionally resilient and adaptable. Because he isn't tied to ego or rigid beliefs, he can evolve without shame or hesitation. Misconceptions are corrected, inefficiencies are eliminated, and truths are embraced fully. In a world where many cling to certainty for comfort, a Sigma thrives in the tension of questioning. His power comes not from knowing all the answers, but from knowing how to find them, and from having the discipline to discard everything that isn't true. This relentless pursuit of understanding is what makes his personality rare, formidable, and undeniably magnetic. The Sigma male is a study in contrasts and extremes, quiet yet powerful, detached yet deeply perceptive, independent yet capable of profound connection. Every trait, every habit, every decision stems from a rare internal logic that most people will never fully understand. He doesn't follow rules because he can't, nor does he rebel for attention. He exists according to his own principles, moving through life with an almost invisible force that shapes the world around him without demanding recognition. His loyalty is earned, his peace is protected, his confidence is built on competence, and his growth is relentless, He is a living paradox, simultaneously untouchable and magnetic, elusive yet impactful, mysterious yet profoundly authentic. To witness a Sigma male in action is to see someone who has mastered the art of living on their own terms. He questions everything, protects what matters, and discards what doesn't. Relationships, ambitions, and energy are filtered through a lens so precise that only the rarest individuals can align with it. His presence exposes shallow intentions, highlights superficiality, and separates the ordinary from the exceptional. In a world full of noise, conformity, and empty validation, he stands apart, unshaken and unapologetic. Understanding a Sigma male isn't about trying to decode him. It's about recognizing the principles that govern his life: self-reliance, clarity, and uncompromising authenticity. He is proof that true strength doesn't demand recognition, and real influence doesn't need a crowd. Every action he takes, every boundary he sets, and every silence he keeps is a testament to a personality that is rare, extraordinary, and exceptionally powerful. If this deep dive into the rare and fascinating world of Sigma males resonated with you, don't just scroll past. Subscribe to the channel to uncover more truths about extraordinary personalities. Leave a comment below sharing which traits surprised you the most, and share this video with anyone who needs to see the subtle, relentless power of a Sigma male in action. Your engagement helps us keep uncovering the rare, the unique, and the brutally honest truths that most people overlook.